I'm Rachit Argarwal. I'm an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science at Cornell Engineering. My primary area of research is systems and networking. On the system side, we build software stacks that sit between the computer hardware that we get from companies like Intel and applications that are run by, for example, companies like Google and Facebook. On the networking side, we think about how two different machines that want to communicate with each other, for example, a person sitting at a home trying to do a Google search query interacting with Google. The main challenges in terms of the research in these two areas are very similar. For example, on the networking side, we want to communicate between two machines as fast as possible and send as much data as possible. For example, one of the things that come over and over again is that if you think fundamentally, it should take an email sent from New York to San Francisco no more than 30 milliseconds. While if you send an email today, it takes up to 1 or 2 seconds. One of the questions that boggles me all the time is how to bridge this gap between what we can achieve today and what are the fundamental limits. On the system side, we see very similar challenges where for each user that is interacting with, say, Google or Facebook, they want to get the response to their query as soon as possible. And for Google, it's a different challenge, which is they have these millions of users trying to get the response to their Google search queries. And the question then becomes is how to use your server resources very efficiently to be able to answer these queries as quickly as possible. So in both of these sub areas, my research focuses on how to bridge the gap between the increasingly faster computer hardware and the computer software, which has now to speed up as the computer hardware speed increases. One of the things that really separates out my research from researchers in this area is that I not only like to build systems, but also be able to argue about the performance of these systems. And to that end, I like to also build theoretical models that can actually argue or help me argue about the performance of the systems. And sometimes these models are also very useful to provide insights about building new solutions as well. When I was visiting Cornell during my interviews, it felt like a very, very friendly environment, much more friendly than any other department I interviewed at. For example, one of the traditions that I saw only at Cornell, the faculty members at Cornell, they still go out for lunch every day together. This is just amazing for a department. It felt like the right place to be at. It is known, and should come as no surprise, that Cornell still gets one of the best students. It's one of the top computer science departments, so that was another reason. And finally, on the personal side, I've always been a very small town kind of person, and Ithaca is just such a lovely, charming small town. I think the thing that I'm really proud of so far in my career is to have had a chance to work with the best in my area and to learn from the best.